Welcome to another movie plot. It opens over the city of Chicago as we follow a swift-moving car through the crowded streets. The sentient vehicle pulls into an alley behind a bar to find a victim among the patrons, when two would-be car thieves stumble out and walk straight past the Chevy Nova. They turn back only seconds later to find the Chevy suddenly replaced by an enticing Corvette just asking to be stolen. As one hops in, he finds the keys left in the ignition, and convinces the skeptical friend to join him despite suggestions that maybe it's a police bait car. Suddenly the ignition disappears and every means of escape instantly vanishes, as the windows go black and their now blood-covered faces are consumed by the vehicle. It casually leaves the scene and drives out onto the main road, before getting so overly confident with its skills that it doesn't see a fast-moving station wagon that T-bones it. Police arrive to find the people severely injured, but no signs of any passengers in the Chevy despite no one being able to make it out of the crash alive. They hear a strange screech come from the vehicle but don't notice the metallic blood substance oozing out of the trunk. The car's impounded at a police garage where the mechanic Hector plans to strip it for parts, but the moment he turns away the Chevy's miraculously pieced itself back together. The next time he steps away the vehicle rolls forward to patiently wait for the mechanic's return. Then when he goes to reverse it the door takes a snap at Hector's leg but surprisingly lets him escape. When he checks his wound, the Chevy starts back up and rams Hector into an elevator shaft instantly killing him. Sergeant Raymond's in charge and finds himself surrounded by incapable or insufferable co-workers like his secretary Maria. Unable to find Hector, Ray requests another mechanic Gordy to locate him but his hearing aids get disrupted by the intercom. He requests another mechanic Al to find them instead and the apprentice Bobby to study on his own time and get back to work. Gordy tells the student to clear Bay 3 and asks if his aunt's working today, as we cut to her getting ready for her night shift as a mechanic at the same garage. Tilda got her nephew Bobby the apprenticeship and does almost as much charity work for her deadbeat boyfriend David, who due to his back problems isn't able to keep a job but spends all day lifting weights. He asks Tilda on her way out if she can fix his busted Pontiac today at work, but she says that she isn't sure if she'll get the time as she takes off on her bike. She arrives at sundown and Ray instantly gets on her case for being almost late, which is another way of saying 5 minutes early, and we see that he's the real douchebag and Maria's actually pretty chill. She says that she hasn't found Tilda's missing necklace and that Ray's meds must have kicked in, as we see both him and Al still searching for Hector. The latter comes across the Chevy and appears to be getting attacked in the same way, but it's just Bobby sneaking up and they both leave unharmed by the slimy vehicle. Tilda's again chewed out by Ray, who we see harassing Maria by groping her inappropriately. When she goes out onto the floor, Tilda requests to work on David's vehicle but Ray says to do it on her own time. The sergeant locks the place down for the night while the mechanics all get together to talk about the strange new vehicle. It feels odd to the touch, unlike any metal, nor does it feel like fiberglass, and Bobby says that despite the panels lining up perfectly it's as if someone built it from memory making slight mistakes. The engine appears to be still warm but they're unable to gain access, and despite hearing nothing under the hood we see tentacles moving as the viewer. Gordy and Bobby return to the workshop while Tilda goes back to get Al, who's still searching for Hector and comes across the metallic blood where the Chevy once sat. It's now turned itself into a Lincoln which he starts climbing inside of before getting interrupted by Tilda. The car knocks her away and strangles Al with a tentacle while dragging him inside. Tilda's unable to smash the windows while Al's slowly consumed, before the vehicle strikes Tilda and drives off into the garage. The story of a man-eating car doesn't sound very convincing to Ray, even when it mysteriously returns by itself as a Mercury Marquis. Bobby notices that its body feels the same odd way the Chevy did while Ray finds no way to gain access. When hearing a slight rumble from the engine, Raymond orders Gordy to pry it open with a crowbar, and a giant snake-like head screams at them before slamming it shut and chasing them around the garage. The four barely manage to escape by hiding behind two other vehicles and are able to observe the creature better. Having now realized it's the same shapeshifting car as the Chevy, Bobby recounts a squid that he read about in marine biology class that could turn itself into a piece of coral to lure in its prey. Suggesting that the creature may have evolved from that same species, it spits burning ink at Ray, landing on his arm and lending credence to the cephalopod theory. Once he's recovered, Ray comes up with a plan to capture the creature and make some money off it, despite Tilda's warning against it. The whole crew are ordered by their sergeant to start barricading it in while Tilda attempts to have Maria call for help, but Ray squashes the order and keeps the secretary in the dark about what's going on. Terrified that everyone's going to get themselves killed, Tilda then goes downstairs to the workshop to convince Bobby to leave, but he's all in on the capture. Gordy's the only one who agrees with her that it's a bad idea, but Ray's been his superior officer ever since they served and he's still just following orders. They corner it into a lift now disguised as a purple Chevy pickup, but it breaks free and barely misses crushing Bobby. Maria walks down from the office to check on all the commotion and comes face to face with the Chevy for the first time. Assuming at first that it's just someone behind the wheel, it chases her upstairs and traps her behind a pillar in the middle of the garage. It allows Maria to run back to her desk as it builds up speed and crashes straight through the side of the office. When the rest of the group get upstairs, Tilda takes up her bike and uses it to save Maria, who escapes out a window and onto the back. The Chevy destroys whatever's left of David's Firebird and chases the girls through the garage as they swerve pillars to avoid it. Everyone just stands around clueless about what to do next except for Gordy, who finds Tilda's missing necklace and decides to do something about it. He runs out swinging wildly as a distraction, giving the girls a moment of rest, but is compromised by his hearing aids when the creature's screeching leaves him frozen in place. When it charges at him, the brave man's unable to outrun it and is caught under a wheel as the Chevy strikes a power box. It electrocutes Gordy and the camouflaged creatures briefly revealed through flashes as the power goes out. The garage is left on the emergency backup generator, and Tilda finds Gordy dead with her necklace that he promised to find earlier. With the lights only having 3 hours of power, the group search for Ray's keys to the exit but can't find it among the rubble. All emergency exits and access points are welded shut by the moronic Ray to prevent break-ins, but has sealed them inside. Maria suggests they hide on the stairs and wait until help arrives, but Tilda names 3 cars that are all wide enough to make it down them. Tilda wants to follow the original plan of capturing and killing it, as she's noticed the creature's metallic blood indicating that it's still injured from its crash earlier. It's now when Tilda becomes the unofficial leader of the group, which Ray's not happy about and makes a big deal out of it. Tilda proudly reminds him that he isn't leading a platoon anymore and is just a bully in charge of a garage. The survivors retrieve a patrol car and go hunting the creature, which we see is hiding on the 2nd floor. It transforms, showing that the squid's tentacles become the vehicle's interior while an outer membrane houses them. The group come up with the plan to build a Burmese tiger trap at the bottom of the elevator shaft in hopes of making the car fall in. They set up spike strips and alarms to alert them of its arrival, while welding spikes to a large metal frame and covering it with a tarp. Inside the flooded pit, Tilda comes across the corpse of Hector while the creature slowly makes its way down the ramp towards them. It sets off the alarms while using its thick skin to roll straight over the defensive spikes, and the covers removed to reveal the body of a 1971 Dodge Charger. Maria leaves the group to find a 6-pack hidden in the garage and almost gets found by the car, but she returns to the group with a lighter and the intention of using the bottles as Molotov cocktails. With a tarp in place over the elevator shaft, Tilda rides around the garage acting as the bait to draw in the car, but it's fashioned itself into a new appearance when blocked by a patrol vehicle. Tilda gets to the floor and finds the cop car crushed, having been run over by a second Chevy pickup that chases her around the garage. When it wants to, it's able to move silently around the room, and blindsides Tilda, sending her bike crashing down the elevator shaft onto the spikes. As she waits to be killed by the Chevy, a Molotov thrown by Bobby actually diverts the creature's path as it writhes in pain. The family lead the truck to where Maria's waiting to throw a cocktail of her own, but the squid prevents the bottle from smashing and it ricochets straight back to her. She catches on fire and stumbles back into the elevator shaft and onto the spikes at the bottom. Bobby and Tilda lose the Chevy on the stairs and race up to find Ray, the only survivor, and still no more remorseful for his part in the deaths. He tells Bobby to move the SUV that they'd been using the whole time, but Tilda notices the real one pushed to the side as the creatures laid a trap for them. It wraps Bobby up as Ray opens fire with a shotgun, but it just heals instantly, as Tilda tries to free Bobby, but it consumes him in the black void and drives off. Having got her nephew the job, Tilda feels responsible for his death, and punches the emotionless Ray before marching off with a shotgun alone. She's calmed down by Ray, who reminds her about the trap and that they should stick to the plan. So after reapplying the tarp, they take a cruiser and go trawling around the garage squid hunting. With the creature still leaving a trail of blood, they corner it and get out of the car to try to locate it better among the imposters. After Ray gives Tilda a quick rundown on how to operate the shotgun, they follow the blood trail only to realize that they've been outsmarted as the creatures double back on them. It nails Tilda, but she holds on to the bumper for dear life, as Ray runs over to the elevator shaft and gets the thing's attention. When Tilda lets go, a tentacle grabs her and pulls her over the edge into the spike pit with it, but luckily she lands on top of it and it transforms into its squid suit, complete with transparent skin and sharp teeth. Tilda picks up Ray's dropped shotgun but is unable to penetrate the thick hide, so she fires on a vehicle above them that blows up and falls into the shaft, crushing the creature and leaving it to slowly bleed out and die. After all this, somehow Ray's one of the only survivors, and is still talking about the 50-50 split they now get due to everyone else dying. He reveals that he had a key to the garage the entire time and simply got everyone killed for money. Tilda's boyfriend David's come to check on his Trans Am and finds his girlfriend covered in blood and his car destroyed. pretty sure he's broken up with at this moment as Tilda's now too desensitized to his nonsense and begins walking home. She's suddenly terrified at the sight of 5 more black vehicles that ignore her and silently drive toward the garage. Thankfully Ray hasn't left yet and exits while on the phone to the news, when noticing that he's cornered by the flock of squid cars that presumably kill him off screen. And the movie ends.